Hello, and thank you for joining us on this episode of Hanging with My Peeps. When we come back. So here we are this week for, number 3 for our third podcast, and we have a new guest, Epic. How's it going?
I'm doing good.
Amazing. So this week's question is, what would you say to someone that says, I don't believe in God? And so anyone can go. It's open floor. What would you say to someone?
I would probably be like, do you want to get to know him? And if they said yes, and then I would tell them.
Yeah, that'd be good. A good way, because you don't know. They might be open. Yeah. I don't believe in God. Well, all right. Yeah, well, you want to find out?
Or do you want to hear the good news of Jesus?
Yeah.
I mean, I would even ask, like, what do you believe in? And see if the question, if their statement is connected to, like, there's no belief in anything, or that there's something that they do believe in, and from there, kind of walk them into making that connection.
Yeah. Because for me, like, it's like, I don't know theology. I guess that's the right word. Because you always hear it, and people, how, I'll see it on, like, YouTube or whatever, and you see people going down, like, yes, well, this millions of years ago shows this, and this shows that. Yeah. And I find it interesting, but I just don't really understand all of it.
You mean
I can't explain
it. Evolution belief.
Yeah, well, I mean that kind of just like the proof of God. Like some videos come out, the proof of God and stuff like that.
Oh.
And I mean, I absolutely believe it. I just wouldn't be able to totally explain it. You know what I mean? But
one of the things I ask is why, and there's various reasons for that, but a lot of times what you find out really fast whether they're going to be a person serious enough to have a conversation with them, right, or if they're just going to be the person who's going to bring up all this,
or argumentative kind of thing.
An argumentative, or they give you all the stupid excuses. They'll be like, well, I don't believe in Santa Claus and unicorns either. And it's like, well, okay, so you're not really wanting to have a serious conversation. Okay, well, let me know when you're ready to have a serious conversation about this, because I'm actually serious about it.
Yeah, because some believers believe that it's their job to try to convince a person that there is a God, but that isn't what we're called to do. We're not called to try to convince people that there is a God. See, we're called to preach the gospel, the good news of the gospel of Jesus Christ. Not to try to prove to them that God exists. Because the Bible says that those who come to God must believe that He is.
Right.
And that He's a reward of those who diligently seek Him. So
it sounds kind of Calvinistic. I mean, I don't know more about that concept, but there's a whole concept of you need to be moved by the Spirit to seek out Jesus, and there's a whole concept of it, and it's. You can sit there and say we can argue that all you want. That's kind of an internal argument, but about whether the Spirit moves you or not. But there has to be something in you, the curiosity or the desire to know about it.
Yeah.
Before, I mean, because my concept has always been, I'm here to do introductions. That's what I do. I introduce. When I'm talking to somebody, I introduce them to Jesus. Hey, Dar, here's Jesus. Jesus, this is Dar. Would you like to get to know each other?
Right?
Yes? No? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, but the thing about Jesus already
just
knows.
Jump in anytime, guys. We don't raise hands around here.
Yeah, trust me. James and I can talk nonstop for an hour.
You
So
just jump on in. Don't be shy. Don't be shy. Just jump in. Just because we're sitting here having a conversation. It's like
because Journey knows me well. I can talk nonstop.
Yep.
Don't. I will not consider it rude if you interrupt me.
So I mean, I think when I think about kind of like what y'all are saying, I think about, some people may argue on the other side that, Scripture teaches us to give a defense for the faith, like, 1 Peter 3:15.
Give a reason why.
But in your hearts, right, honor Christ the Lord as holy, always be prepared to make a defense. Anyone who asks you for a reason for the hope that is in you. Yet do it with gentleness and respect. So some people may argue that, but like you said, James, it's not to try to convict anyone, but it's telling why
well, it's
we
not
believe
so much,
what we
it's
believe.
not the conviction part.
Right.
It's
Well,
like
I think he
trying
meant
to prove to
convince.
them, trying to
convince.
prove that God
Yeah.
exists.
Yeah.
Right. And so it's, it's okay to give a defense, say why you believe.
Right. Yeah.
Be
But
prepared
the
with
Holy
your own
Spirit
testimony.
is the one who
Yeah.
convicts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I think when you try to convince, it just opens up a door for argumentation.
Yeah.
Because some people, they just want to argue. They were just, well, then why does he do this? Then why does that happen?
Yeah.
And it's like that is just like such a open thing, and a lot of it too is the defense, because they, some people may like truly really want to know why.
Exactly.
But then some people just use the defense because like they really don't want to, because they're so comfortable in what they're doing. It's an excuse. I'll just put it that
and
way.
the question is more
To
rhetorical.
stay there, right? Yeah, just to stay where they're at, because it's like it's easier. They, you know what I mean. So, yep, exactly. So that's that's what I was gonna say.
I've seen that very thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, did any of you have examples of times that you've encountered, some pushback like that? Because I definitely have.
I haven't had that. I don't think.
I have.
At least not
I
late
have.
now.
Well, I used to chase people with that idea long ago. I used to like hunt for them in social media and debate with them.
Yep.
I mean, I used to like have debates with them. That's when I knew all that stuff about evolution and things. I stopped doing that. A lot of that stuff I don't even really recall anymore, like I used to. Because you just a back and forth argument, and it seemed to be getting
It's kind
nowhere.
of hard not to debate.
All I can do is give my
Keep going,
testimony,
going.
And Journey mentioned something about conviction. When you give your testimony about God, some people may be convicted by that, and some people may not. But hopefully that conviction turns them towards God. You see?
Yeah.
You see? But it is not for the purpose to try to prove that God exists. But you do want to witness them. You want to tell them maybe your experience with God. How God has done something in your life, changed your life, saved you.
And which is another form of like what Epic was saying. We are called to have a good defense. It doesn't say be defensive. It's called having a good defense. It's not necessarily being defensive. And I joke about it a little bit. I'm here to give introductions. But yeah, I had a person specifically. He was actually my media supervisor at work, and we had a really good relationship overall. We could talk about just about anything. I knew about his wife, his daughter had health problems. He knew about my family and all that stuff. We had, kind of a friendship and based on our, a lot of mutual things. But he's and to this day he's still an antagonistic when it comes to religion. Okay, so he's a little antagonistic, and we were on good enough terms that he could joke, and sometimes I kind of get a little serious on him, and he'd be like, and we'd actually get down to it. And he'd be like, well, yeah, okay. I mean, I get where you're coming from here about this whole concept of where does it all come from, but why is it yours? Why is it your religion? Why is it Jesus as opposed to any of these others? And he was legitimately asking.
Yeah.
He was legitimately asking, and I respect that. I didn't have really great answers at that time, and this was oh my gosh, I don't know, probably 7, 8 years ago now. And today, However, I would have something a little better, definitely, about why Jesus, as opposed to Buddhism, as opposed to Islam, as opposed to all of these other ones, and it really has to do with, and I think I even shared it before, just the concept of all of these other main religions and many of the smaller ones that are not main, they all refer to Jesus. If you talk to somebody who is a Buddhist, they'll talk about being Christ-like, or having
some
Christ
kind of way.
Yeah. And they're referring back to Christ. If you talk to a Muslim, they will tell you about the Christ was a thing to adhere to because he was considered one of the greatest prophets. If you talk to this person, that person, they refer back to Jesus. Yes, yeah. That's a whole other game. But when you get to Christianity, Jesus Christ never referred to anybody else but himself. He said, "I am the way, the truth, and the life. None come to the Father but through me."
Right.
And when you look at that and you say, well, why do you believe this? He's the only one that said that.
Right.
Everybody else referred to him in this manner, in that manner, being like him, being like that, and he's like, no, I am.
Right.
Yeah, you raise a good point, because the divinity of Jesus is a key distinguishing factor when it comes to Christianity and what Christians believe. That is what distinguishes us from others who may regard Jesus as a great prophet and all of that, but it stops at, and they'll even sneak it in where people, oh, you believe just like me, and it's like, no, they don't.
Right.
They do not believe in the deity of Jesus. If you press further, you'll realize that they distinctly do not believe in the deity of Jesus.
No, they do not.
So us knowing why we believe in the deity of Jesus is such a key factor to us having a defense for our faith.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Yeah, it's amazing. And for me too. And I said before, I was like, no, I never did have that like happen. But I forgot that over in the old space, I remember in one of my rooms over there, and that was like the most packed I saw. I think it was in my heaven room that I had, and a couple people came in, and I think they were kind of like trolling this space and whatnot. But it came out like it was almost like everyone was like surrounding these guys because they were just coming in and like, oh, I don't believe in God, and they were just like really starting stuff. And I do remember, I was talking to one guy who said he was an atheist and whatnot, and just kind of giving him a little testimony, and just really being passionate about like my belief and how he's changed me and things like that. And he was really like respectful about it. You know what I mean? And so, at least with them, but then there was another group that came in. I don't know if they were all friends together, but then it kind of got out of hand. But for me, I just... Do you remember that? I think you were probably there. Were you?
Yeah, I was about to say, that's always a good approach, is your personal testimony. It's hard for people to argue with that.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. And especially if they know you, and they see they see your struggle and they see your change. You know what I mean? Yeah. And that's what I go for. That's why I always just like say it. Even right now, like I'm like trying to finish up my testimony and stuff like that. But I look at it because I know for me, a lot of stuff that I was trying to change, I couldn't do it on my own power. How many times I like try? 50 zillion times, and then come to Christ, and it was just like boom, instantaneously, like what? So that right there is my proof, and that's why I just say like testimony is like the big thing, because they see the action behind it and they're like, what, you're like that now, really? What? So yeah, it's amazing. I love it. Thank you, Jesus. Always have to say that. So
yeah, for my proof, I'd be like, well, I had like COVID. I was in the hospital for 2.5 days. If it wasn't for him, I probably wouldn't have been healed as quick as I was.
Mm-hmm.
I'm grateful
Wow.
for that.
And on top of that, I mean, you have some serious health problems that made that a huge risk for you too.
Wow.
Yeah.
It does. I mean, it's immunity. You're immunocompromised, and you know, you have all that fun stuff that you deal with, that you fight.
Mm-hmm. Like this cough, I'm trying not to do, and if I
Yeah,
pick
you've
up
had
something
that for a while.
yeah. Ever
long
since
while.
beginning. Yeah, it started at the beginning.
Since Alt Space that I
COVID,
remember.
think.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
since Alt Space. Yeah, you weren't
Yeah.
and then you got sick, and then you just like developed that cough. It seems
Yeah,
better
I
now.
had that cough before COVID. I think my antibodies started going downhill. I didn't know I had that immune deficiency until probably after COVID or so, or before.
Yeah. But praise Jesus, you've found a new source for your for your injections and your
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Yeah, I know you were
medication.
having a hard time
Yeah.
before.
yeah.
Yeah, it's not
So-
too bad. I mean, probably gonna hold off until like we get back from our festival next week that we're going to.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I still have a little bit of issues when I do them. Kind of like hurts on one side.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So I'm trying to still get
It's
used
a
to
choice-
them.
Choice you have
But
to
God
make.
be watching over you. Yep.
Yeah.
He'd be watching over you. He wants you to get to the
Yeah.
concert, have a good time.
So,
Enjoy.
yeah.
Yep. And then you'll probably be witnessing. Well, I'm sure there'll probably be some people there that are like non-believers. Probably some believers are taking some non-believer friends, and you probably meet
Oh,
people to
that's gonna
talk
be
to
awesome
that are.
see, yeah.
Yeah, that'd be-
It's
that'd
always
be-
like that. It's like,
that-
come on, we're going to a concert. Like, who doesn't love
Can
a
you-
concert?
Can
Hey.
you imagine meeting Jesus in that kind of energy the first time?
Oh
Wow.
man.
Wow.
Right.
At a Rise event? Oof. So, yeah, that'd be crazy. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, like I told you and Cameron, I have this TikTok. I finally have enough followers to go live, so I'm going to do some live feed on there.
Oh, cool.
Awesome.
Y'all, I have
So
to
a
get
lot of people
TikTok.
will
That's
see
right.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, I have to get
Yeah.
that. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought you already had it.
I know. I never had TikTok. I've always just had Facebook and
Instagram.
I don't know, and Instagram.
I
Instagram.
never-
I just actually
yeah.
got
I never
like.
thought it'd happen until I met this one friend in Rec,
Uh-huh.
but she don't follow me
Yeah.
anymore. But still, it's great to have, and you can reach out to more people with it.
Yeah. I've just started my my TikTok, but so I didn't have that at the time. But my first attempt at a YouTube channel, it just kind of ties in with this whole thing, and it was I was doing Bible readings. Basically, I was one of those guys. I'd be in my car, and I was kind of going through different things, and I was doing Bible readings, and I was going through. I went through all of Psalms, and I went through all of Proverbs, and I'd read through it, and just kind of start my day off that way. I sit in my car in the parking lot at work, and it was it's a great way to start your day. By the way, is if you get to work and you open up a Bible and you start reading for a little bit, then you go in, and much better attitude. Let me tell you.
Exactly.
But I fell into a trap, and honestly, it was a trap of Satan. It was Satan's trap. I'm fully convinced it was, because I felt like I was doing it in righteousness, and I realized at some point in time I wasn't. I was doing it for the wrong reasons. But one of the things that happens is when you start to get a little tiny bit of attention, doesn't take a lot. I mean, maybe you're getting 20, 30 views on a video, which isn't a lot, but
That ain't shabby though.
No, it wasn't shabby, but you start getting comments in, right? And I was starting to get the attention of these atheists who wanted to just try to dismantle me, or just ask me lots. Some were legitimate questions, some were people actually feeling respectful and everything, but there were some really obnoxious ones. And you know what I'm talking about, the trolls, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you get them on Facebook too.
You do. You get them. You get them everywhere. You get them everywhere. And I fell into Satan's trap on that. And I was arguing with him. So I mean, you have, and that's why when I said at the beginning of this, I said, I ask questions to find out if they're serious or not.
You're right.
I want to know. I mean, if they're going to give me the lines about unicorns and Santa Claus, I know they're not serious. And I'm not. and while we're supposed to, as Epic says, we're supposed to have a good defense, we're also told, do not throw your pearls before swine.
For swine. Exactly.
Right.
Because these people are not there to find Jesus. They're not being moved by the Spirit in any way. And you becoming defensive over that is not going to convince them. And all you're going to be doing is frustrating yourself. And eventually I finally got to the point where it's like, you know what? I'm done with this. And I actually gave an announcement. I just said, hey, listen, I'm done arguing with you guys. I'm done. I'm shutting. I'm not making any more videos. And that channel is, I just don't do it. There's like 200 subscribers on there now.
Oh, wow.
You know, but I just don't do it anymore. I just leave it alone. Because that's where they're at. And now I'm doing, now what I'm doing, as you well know, is a Christian podcast, only in the sense that I'm a Christian and I'm doing it. But it's not really, it's something totally different. But it's probably not going to draw that kind of interest on them. They're not even going. They're going, if they figure out that I'm Christian, it's going to be because they realize that my material is clean.
Right.
My material is not sexual in nature. It doesn't talk about drugs and drinking, and and there will be points where I'll bring in God and glorify Him in the podcast, but it's a storytelling thing. And
right.
It won't,
it's a different kind of It's like a different kind of platform, but you're still.
It is.
But it still is Christian, as you said, because it's clean. It's clean. It's clean stuff. So
yeah. My intention is to, at some point in time, I'll have the occasional episode that talks about God, and glorifies Him, and does it very simply. But that way, I don't want to deal with that level of stuff anymore.
Right.
I'd love to do a one-on-one. Somebody's talking to me, like that coworker. I've had a couple of coworkers. I had another coworker. I have a unique home life in the sense that my wife is in a wheelchair, and and she wasn't in a wheelchair when we got married, so it's a big change in life, and it's a challenge and everything, but it's been 20 years, so we're accustomed to it. And I had one guy, he actually said it to somebody else, and I heard it from somebody else at the shop who was also a Christian, and he says, I don't understand how Cameron's life is so tough. How come he's following Jesus and he's not blaming God for everything that he has to deal with every day? That's kind of a perspective that they have. Like, I should be blaming God.
Yeah. How come no one ever blames Satan?
Yeah.
You ever notice that? Do I pray on a regular basis? The skate by, like what's up with that? Everything bad happens, you blame God. It's like, wait a minute, it's Satan who
exactly.
It's evil that's doing all this stuff.
Like maybe it's because
they have to disprove God. They have to disprove God. They don't think about disproving Satan.
Or it's just an innate go-to thing.
Yeah.
Because our hearts are evil. So what are we going to do? We're going to go up against the person that's good. We're not going to say, hey,
especially when you're set on doing the wrong thing and doing evil.
Are you going to blame Satan when you're like, you know what I mean? It's like,
well, Satan doesn't want to get the he already has the non-believer.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
The other interesting thing on that is, how come we don't ever think about our decision to, sometimes it's something we chose to do that resulted in whatever we're, dealing with. So,
self-inflicted.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Or even open up that door, allow those forces to come into your life. Making those decisions.
Right.
And
you're not going to really blame everything on the devil, because when you stand before God, you're going to be held accountable for what you do.
Absolutely.
So
yeah. And
but I hear what Epic's saying though. It's we put ourselves into a lot of stuff, Yeah, and
Exactly.
like a lot. As a matter of fact, I just wrote that in doing my testimony. It's like, yeah, things happen from other people, but we also do our own self-inflicted kind of thing.
Yeah, it's absolute doctrine that Satan doesn't make us do anything.
Mm-mm.
He doesn't. He can't. He doesn't have that power.
Who remembers
He
Geraldine? The devil made me do it.
Yeah.
Remember Flip Wilson? Epic. I know you got to remember Flip Wilson.
So,
Well, the interesting
Good.
thing is, like, that is the script that we see in Genesis, right? Like, that was the whole script. Like, Eve takes a bite of this fruit. They're told not to eat it.
Exactly.
She eats it. Then she blames, when God comes and asks, right? And then she blames the serpent. Right,
Yeah.
and then
And who did Adam blame?
Adam blamed
The woman.
Adam blamed her. It's like, nope, that person made me do it.
It's like, really?
Yeah. That's the theme right there. I mean, that's the
She
major
made me
part of that
do it.
lesson.
Well, he made me do it. Well, then she made me do it. Like, oh my goodness, y'all. Seriously.
You did it yourself.
Exactly.
God wasn't buying it because this is what's going to happen to you, Eve. This is what's going to happen to you, Adam. And this is what's going to happen to you, serpent.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, does someone? Now, here's a question too, because I heard it the other day. So, hopefully I get this right, because I'll sound really silly if I don't. But okay, so do you think that Satan had to be actually walking before he became a serpent? Because God did say, "For what you did, you will now spend your time on your belly." That question came up, and I was like,
well,
bam! I guess maybe so. He had to maybe.
your audio's a little broken up, but
Is it me or is it start breaking up?
no, she's just a touch, but it's
okay.
It's pretty legible.
Also, I think my
Okay, hopefully
Yeah, I
it'll
think
come
me-
through in the
yeah.
video, though.
my network is going.
I don't want to be
You're a
going.
little stuttery. Yeah. Dar was pretty clear there. One thing about that is, I mean, there's certain things.
Is it me or
when you understand certain things,
Start breaking up.
Satan is he's having
Yes.
Okay, now you're
as
medallion.
you. So Satan is a title.
I don't know. It could be my.
So one thing you have to remember is Satan is a title,
I know something.
and now, and for several thousand years now, Lucifer has held that title. So the serpent was not Lucifer. So that's
Right.
The serpent was Satan as the adversary, and because God makes things in a left and a right and an up and a down, your front and your back. That's just that's the universal the universe as He made it. Everything has those two sides, and that's the dichotomy of our universe. Now, serpent can be, serpent. If you go back far enough, serpents can be, a gecko could be a serpent. It was amphibian, I know, but
But they're
a
so
reptile.
cute.
Yeah, I know amphibian. Somebody's going to say something. Yes. Okay. But it's a very generic term, so it could be something with legs. It could be something with legs. It could. The serpent could also
Some kind
be
of
referring to
animal. I don't know.
Yeah, it could have been an animal. It could have been, just something that's is a representation.
It's something that the devil manifests himself through, or
Exactly.
Yeah, it was just like such an
anything.
interesting question when I heard it.
It is an
I was
interesting
like-
question.
I was
Did
like,
he have
wait,
legs? So he very well
yeah.
could have. I mean, because
but that
we
is
don't.
weird though, because
Yeah.
sin wasn't in the world yet, and yet the devil
Sin wasn't in the
influencing
world, but there
something-
was.
but
there
he
was
influ-
still
influenced
that
something that was in the
dichotomy.
world, because when
Yeah.
sin came, it had an effect on all the creatures.
Yeah.
For
Yes.
they began decay. They began to decay and things like that. So that's why I'm wondering, how did the devil get a hold of one of the creatures? Maybe
He
I
wouldn't
don't
have
know.
gotten hold of one of the creatures. I think he was placed in there because he had to be placed in there. Because, I mean, bear in mind, we have a God of choices. We have a God who wants us to choose Him. And in order to choose Him, we have to be given an alternative choice.
Yeah.
And that's why he was placed, the serpent, Satan was placed in there
Yeah.
as a way of like, okay, this isn't a test, but you need to choose. You can choose. He said you can have anything you want, but do not eat of this tree. Which, by the way, we have no idea what that tree really was. We call it an apple because we're a European.
Yeah, I'm gonna say maybe pomegranate or something.
I've heard that theory as well. Pomegranates are
delicious.
really good, though. Just to be honest, yeah,
they had to be good. Yeah,
a lot of work. A lot of work to eat.
Been
But
any tree, any fruit.
it could have been.
Yeah, exactly.
It could be something that doesn't
You just said the fruit.
Yeah.
looking things.
Bananas.
It could be a date. We don't know. But
I don't think it was a pomegranate. Too much trouble.
Too much work. Yeah, you can't just bite into that.
It is
You
a
gotta
lot of work. You got to cut it in half, and I've learned a good way to do pomegranates. You take a spoon and you beat the back of it, and then but
haven't had that in forever.
Spoons.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, no, boy.
Yum.
I'm gonna have to see if I can find one at the store now. So, but we'll check that for my Instacart. So that's kind of the concept of in order to be given a choice, there had to be something in there to choose other than following his law. Yeah. And so he gave a tree that he said, do not eat of.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. Why did you do that to me?
All the trees, I know, right? Oh,
Exactly.
all the trees.
And
but then again, we have
and
to
all
say
the millions and billions of trees.
Yeah.
That one.
one.
You're in paradise.
Yep.
and now we look on it and we going, why do they do it? But then I guess if it was us,
I was about to
then
say.
then maybe would we have done it? You know what I
We
mean?
do
Like
the same. Like
we
this
do
is
the same
the
thing.
same script is happening. Like even
over
today,
and
where
over and over again.
Yep.
we
Yeah,
have all this, right? And the
Uh-huh.
Lord says, just give a tenth to me. We get all the rest, right?
Uh-huh.
We get
And what do we do?
all this.
All the rest.
And the Lord will be like, just give me a little bit of your time. Pray in the morning. Just say hello to me. Just say give me a little bit at night and just say, thank you, Jesus, for
Thank
the
you,
day.
right.
Just give me a little bit of your time.
Yeah. Open my
you
book
get the
for
rest
10
of your
minutes.
day, but
And what do we do? Yeah, exactly. We're no better. We are no better than Adam and Eve. We are just as weak.
I don't got time for you.
And, we have inherited that without a doubt. And so when I sometimes when you're talking to somebody and they're like, what about evolution and all this of dinosaur bones and all this, and I'm like, listen, first off,
fossils and blah blah blah.
let me just tell you first off. Maybe the Earth is 5 billion years old, whatever you want to call it. Maybe it is. Maybe the universe is 14 billion years old. Well, I worship an omnipresent God. He could have done it. That could have been his math. 6 days could have been. I've heard all kinds of theories on the 6 days of creation and how it would stretch and time and light speed and all this. I've heard all these kind of things.
That's all.
I've heard, springs and So,
Carbon
but then
14
also
dating and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
I don't even. It's like after a while, it's just kind of
that.
like, yeah, exactly. It's like, what does it matter? All that knowledge is not
all I have
soul
to do is
saving.
Think about this. Is
And it's unnecessary.
if a God
It's
who
so
could
unnecessary.
create everything, he could create everything.
Yeah.
I mean, from start to finish. I mean, and cares about the amoeba all the way up. Molecules, quarks, all quantum mechanics, all of this stuff he's figured out. You're telling me that he couldn't figure out that in order for us to believe in him and come to him, we have to have an alternative theory out there, like the Earth is 5 billion years old.
Yeah. But then when you read in Genesis, it says that it didn't say it wasn't the Earth. It just said the Earth was without form and void.
Exactly.
All right.
So
And so you look at nature and I see when I look at nature, I see God everywhere.
Do you see? I know, right? That's oh my goodness. Like, okay, like I do VZ Fit, like sometimes, and of course, everything is what Google Earth generated, and you'll like go,
VZ
like
Fit.
VZ Fit,
Yeah.
like if you have a
Victor Zebra.
stationary bike and whatnot, you can ride your bike, and it just kind of gives you this snapshot travel kind of thing. You can go to like different places, but I look at some of the stuff and I'm like, oh my goodness, like all this vast land and area and just
Mm-hmm.
Now some of it's just desolate. Like if you want to live there, have at it. But it's like other places you see it's so lush and green, and it's like, why is everyone on top of everything? Everyone, it's like they want people living on top of each other when there's like all this space, but yet they want to claim like the planet is too crowded or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, what's all this? If you can if you can go out there and live in that area, why not?
Yeah,
why do you have to pay tax on it?
That's
God's land.
Around and you see all the space that is open, but one person owns it. One person owns all that. Is it?
Yeah. I mean, it's like
and no one can live there. No one can build
unless you pay for it, and it's God's
and
land, and it's gorgeous.
Yeah, there's things to consider as far as property rights. We can get on that whole discussion if you want to. That's fine. Yeah. But my
it's like open land.
I've said, my retirement dream, and I'm 53 years old, so I'm not that far from retirement. So my retirement dream is a plot of about 10 to 50 acres someplace, and pretty much just kind of the whole homestead off-grid kind of concept. Okay, but
there you go.
That's and you want to talk about getting back in touch with God. There is a reason why farming country people are so much more in touch with God. Now, they may not have right ideas on everything. There may be some problems there, no doubt about it. And if you can explain to them through a godly manner that, hey, that's wrong, you need to think a little different, they're probably going to listen to you. But you talk about people who are touching the earth every day of their lives, and everything that they do, their entire livelihood, everything that they're there to do,
and stuff.
The animals, the animal husbandry, the dealing with all of that, you're in touch with God when you're doing that. I mean, you're in touch with thousands of years of human history. It's like reading. You ever read the Psalms and understand and figure out that when you're reading Psalms, you're touching with, King David. You're reading words that King David put down, and you're praying with him when you read the Psalms. And so farmers are the same way when it comes to the land. They are
exactly.
They're doing the same kind of thing.
Yeah, that's how I always like. I always like the Amish. You know what I mean? I'm always like, in a way, they're lucky. Especially now, I think they're pretty lucky because like they're not. I don't think they're dealing with half this stuff that. They're kind of like in a space all their own. You know what I mean? But it's like, yeah, in a way, it would be nice not to have all the distraction and just really deal with it. But that's looking at the grass being greener. Yeah, just kind of like, like not all the nonsense and stuff, just doing it. Although, the other part of it can be kind of like nuts too, I'm sure. But a lot of it though just seems pretty nuts because pretty cool because you got your family there, and it's like family, and it's like you got this tight knit group, and if you need something, you got your neighbor there. You know what I mean? Like your neighbor for real. You know what I mean?
It's
and
a community.
Everyone looks. Yeah, it's like a real like community.
They cooperate
now
with each other. They work together.
Yeah. Now I'm sure they have like some of their stuff that's kind of like
you live right across from somebody, but you don't even know who.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. I struggle with that now with where I'm at now, and I don't live in a big city, but it's a lot. It's like 10 times the size of what I grew up in. But it's still not a big city. It's like 50,000 people. But I know, and it's a struggle to even get to know your next door neighbors now.
Yeah. Especially everybody's walking around like. I see people walking around with their dog because I live like in a development, right? And you see people walking their dog, and everyone's like this.
When you
they're walking they're walking their dog, and they're looking at their cell phone. Like the dog's probably like, "Hello," you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, oh my goodness, like, yeah, it's crazy.
And the thing is, and this is one of those things we talk about. Satan does things, and social media. If you ask me, there's a lot of Satan in social media.
Oh yeah,
and that's a driving force. I mean, you look at TikTok trends, and you look at all these different things, and you look at OnlyFans. I mean, how can how
I have
can
a
that
question.
be a viable thing?
Why is everybody always dancing on TikTok? That's why I haven't gotten it, because I'm like, every time you turn around, it's even on like on Reels or something like that when you're on Facebook and you're seeing everybody's dancing. It doesn't matter if they're from Pakistan, Korea, Japan. Everybody's dancing. I'm like, what is that?
TikTok is a dance. That's what you do.
Oh, I can't hear you.
You're a little quiet there, Epic.
Yeah.
Oh, can you hear me now?
That's better. That's better.
Just a little bit, but
A little better.
So I'll speak up.
A lot better.
there you go.
I'll be
Yeah,
yelling a little bit now.
because I got a baby here.
But, no,
With energy.
With energy.
Put your heart into it. What is it? But no, TikTok is actually known for dancing. Like that is what that's what you do on TikTok. That's why everybody's dancing.
Okay.
Everybody's dancing because
it's an attention thing. It really is.
Yeah, and that, like the dance challenges, that's what makes it
Oh.
trend.
That's what got it started.
That's what makes things trend.
Yeah.
Right. Now people are doing other things on TikToks, but it was trending from dancing.
And it's funny how
I
it
was
works
just
because
like, what is that? I was every time I turned around.
it has a feed that's called For You, right? And I'm just learning TikTok. I've only been on it for a little bit. Journey kind of said, hey, get me on there. Like,
I'm gonna get it since he's on it.
But yeah, and then we'll follow each other on that.
Yeah.
And it's funny what comes up on my feed because it's actually stuff that kind of interests me to a certain extent. We talked about animal husbandry, right? Just a little bit. It's hilarious. I've got feed of people who trim cows' hooves. And you wouldn't think that,
What?
but I'm just watching that like, wow, that's cool.
No.
Yeah, I've never seen it done until I seen it.
I seen them
Exactly.
trim it to the pus comes out.
Oh, wow.
Exactly. So you're there
Ew,
too.
what?
You got it.
Ew, no way. What?
Oh yeah.
What?
That's
I've never seen that.
What?
Yes, it's on there. It's on TikTok. This is a part of raising cattle. Is these things have to be taken care of. But then there's other things like there's this one auto mechanic, and I see him doing his stuff for Hondas, and he works on predominantly Hondas, and we see all these oil changes happening all the time, and it's like it's an oil change. How exciting can it be? I don't know. The guy's got the really cool tools, and he just kind of whips through the whole thing, does the whole thing in about 5-10 minutes. It's amazing. That's TikTok to me. And far more so than the dancing and all the trends and all that, because that's what hits my feed.
I guess I'll have to check it out.
And follow them. I mean,
But I was just like, what in the world is like?
I just put some short Bible reading clips.
Yeah.
On
Yeah. Oh, I would.
mean,
Yeah.
not really. They were like
I'm gonna
short,
check it out.
Short. They were like short devotionals.
Yeah. James,
I like your
was doing
stuff.
that
I gotta. Do you have
When we're
YouTube?
done here, put your TikTok name on.
Yeah,
on
info
there.
on.
I'll
put it
mine
on.
If you got it,
Alright.
Heath, I got yours.
Put it on the
You got
Peeps.
one.
I only got a few
Put it
things
on-
on there
put it
because
on there.
I just got on there myself, basically.
Yeah, so I'm brand
Yeah.
new, man. I
don't have a lot of stuff on there yet. I just got
no.
Epic too. Put your
things on
information
there.
on Peeps.
Do it.
And I got a
Do
few
it.
of my
Yeah.
pictures on there.
I mean, we need to support each other, though. And that's what it is.
Yeah,
We
exactly.
need to support each other. I think that's what it is. And because I mean, James,
We're the
go ahead,
podcast
put it on there. I
people.
don't care if you only have. I don't care if you only have one thing on there. I'm
Exactly.
I have like two daily devotionals on there, and they're like short.
Yeah, put it
You
up
The
can
rest
there.
is
check out-
just pictures.
You can check
pictures
out
of
my
me.
dumb
I
skits and if you like it. Journey loves my stuff.
I like it, and I like.
it's pretty entertaining.
Yeah, and I like
it's
the
pretty cool.
how you have like the sound effects and everything.
Yeah,
I'm telling
so
you,
that-
it's like Epic. Have you heard any of it?
I don't think he's had a chance.
Oh,
Okay,
put it
so-
on Peeps. Share it on
TikTok.
Peeps.
I'll share my
Roundabout
TikTok on
causing
Peeps. for you.
tornadoes.
Well, no, no. I'll explain real quick what it is. It's real simple. Everybody knows all of our conspiracy theories have come true. Okay.
Yeah,
so
right.
I decided the heck with it. I'm making them up. I'm creating them, and I've got a couple of characters that talk about it, and I record it. They're anywhere from
It's really good.
2 to 6 minutes long each one.
Mm-hmm.
They're not very long, so and they're just audio. The video is just something just as a placeholder. So you can turn it on. You can turn it on and just let it run and scroll through the feed and just have fun.
It's like an old time radio show. It's pretty cool.
It's
That's what it reminds
fun.
me of.
It's pretty fun.
Yep.
So if you want to do it, great. But if you have yours, please put it on her thing, and we'll.
Yeah.
Mine is
get it
easy.
going.
It's at Trust1G4E.
Yeah.
There you go. I'll look it up. Mine's at Hear Me Out 1970.
Yeah.
So,
well, like I said, just share it on the Peeps on the message thing.
We'll share it on that. Yeah.
Epic, do you have a YouTube? Do you have a YouTube channel?
No, I have a TikTok though. I just
You have a
put it
TikTok?
in-
Okay.
Put it
put it up
in
there.
my Peeps.
Okay. Cool. Yeah.
Yeah, put it on there. Put it on there.
Nice.
Yep,
This is
just
really
share it
cool.
on there so we can, because we should support each other as Christians. We should also,
Yeah. Exactly.
I mean, none of us are making money off of it.
It's
We're not. It's not
biblical,
why we
right?
do it. What's
Yeah.
that?
And they
Yep.
show that's biblical. They show
It is.
know me by the way that you love one another, right? That's
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yep. And that's
Yeah,
why I
those are
really
the-
that's why I really like this, and I love having like this like group and everything, and this podcast, which is amazing because like I know for me, I was trying to have like events over in spatial and stuff, and it just wasn't happening because Alt Space was the bomb diggity. I just I just love it. It just wasn't the right, but
Yeah, there's nothing that can
awesome.
compare to that.
yeah,
you know.
nothing that can compare to it. So-
Rec Room's getting that way. They've had
Yeah.
Rec Room Studios. It's becoming more graphic. Like
Yeah, that's what you were telling me.
I haven't been there for a while.
Yeah, I have to check
haven't
that
been there
out.
for a
Because I
while
used to go
either.
there to play the games, man.
Those
Yeah.
kids would
Yeah.
be killing
Yeah.
me running around.
I know, right? It's like
You can go.
one
under
kid was like,
private
"You need a
entrance, like, we're in
timeout,"
this
and I was
private
like,
entrance.
"Excuse me."
So it's like your
Yeah.
dogs
Yeah.
or whatever.
See, after
okay.
Allspace, I spent some time in VR chat, which was okay, and I was watching some movies in there and stuff like that. So, but yeah, it's tough to get to know people like in VR chat. I got to know people in Allspace, and I thought I think that's it.
Yeah.
It did feel more like community driven.
Yeah,
Because so I think that's.
I didn't really
that's,
do
one of
anything in
the
VR
things.
chat, but
I still go there every now and then, but I mean it's not. I mean,
Yeah,
there's some good churches there.
is there?
But I mean,
Oh,
you might be sitting beside some really strange avatars.
I know. I think that's what like really gets me, but
Yeah.
but we're gonna wrap this up pretty soon. But yeah, it's been really good. So we'll say goodbye, and then we'll finish off camera conversation. And this was really, really great. And I want to thank everyone for coming. And then for the new people, what do you have to say to new people that, about, hey, come to Jesus? I always just tell people, come to Jesus. Don't waste any time because, a next breath is not guaranteed. And life is short, obviously, but he changes lives. And that's what I have to tell, like, new people or non-believers. He changes lives.
Yeah.
So.
And as far as trying to prove that God exists to someone, you can read in Psalms where it says, "The heavens declare the glory of God, and the firmament shows his handiwork." So
Amen.
Amen.
we don't have to try to prove God to them. All they have to do is look around them and see the creation, and make the decision for themselves. That's not our job.
That's right.
Introduction.
Yeah, we give our testimony, or live our life before them, and let God
If it
shine
wasn't-
through us.
Yeah. If it weren't for him,
And that may
we wouldn't
convict
be
them.
here.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
And you don't have to be all cleaned up. Come as you are.
Yeah.
Nope. That's a good thing too. I'm still
Yeah.
a mess.
I know, right? Me too. Me too.
So.
All right. So, everyone say bye. Thanks for joining us. Until next
Thanks,
week.
bye.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye.
Bye.